Hello, you awesome friends. This is your pal, Edwards here speaking, with the beautiful Opera House on my left and the Harbour Bridge on my right. And we have got a top A-class interview for you. She's a wonderful friend of mine. She's been in Star Trek. She's been in Disney stuff. She's been on TV. She's a voiceover artist. She's a mentor and coach. She's even done TEDx. Tasia Valenza, how are you today?
That is an incredible introduction. I'm very grateful. And it was, she's done this, she's done that. She is amazing. Welcome to Valenza. Thank you for this incredible view, too. I really appreciate it.
Now, it's an absolute pleasure, Tasia, and just to let our audience know, this is actually the sequel of our original interview. We did an original interview with Tasia just at the start of Corona, and it went absolutely off its head. And this has been a long-awaited encore to the original interview. Tasia, I'd love to ask you, what have you learned about persuasion and voice and life during Corona? What has this crazy time in our world taught you?
You know, I would say what the platform of Give Great Voice, which is at its essence, to explain it to those that don't know, is to move, touch, and impact with our voices, is that much more important now that we are in this period of time where we can't literally physically touch one another. And so this ability, Edward, and especially with the veil lifted, meaning that we're Zooming all the time, we're interacting, it's more imperative than ever that we have command and confidence in our verbal communication, because the digital communication is definitely not happening quite as much because we're needing to overcome. And also that the beauty of it is that technology is allowing this explosion of opportunity if we have this amazing ability to communicate effectively and powerfully, to create opportunities that we had no clue that we could do. We were so much local. Now the global opportunities have presented themselves in a more powerful and incredible way if we take advantage and have the opportunity to maximize them.
And you so well said, Tasia, and you brought it up just then. How, from your giving great voice persuasion viewpoint, how do we take advantage of this new global international platform?
Well, the thing is, especially because of you and I met on LinkedIn, it's incredible how many opportunities you can have. I mean, I've met so many people through you, and I would have to say they're all a large majority are Australia, and I've gotten some clients from it. It's been incredible, the LinkedIn platform, and also taking the initial digital communication and upping it with voice. And that would be even whenever I've connected with somebody, whether the invitation came and we've now made a connection, instead of just leaving a digital, message, I always take the opportunity to introduce myself with my voice. Because if we can express our resonance and our warmth through the voice, that creates so much of a quicker, personalized connection that I often find that there's not only delight at the other end and surprise, because a lot of people don't even know they can do it, but the interactions are already a step further than just the trite, nice to meet you, how are you? It's a little bit more personalized and the connections made. And that's how we create, like, as we were talking about, relationships that can go further, both professionally and personally, a lot quicker.
Oh, well said. And I want to go back to now, you're an amazing, A-class act. You're very charming and charismatic. I want to actually speak to people like my older self. What if you're not very confident? What if you have trouble even, doing a post and text on LinkedIn? What do you say to people who are absolutely awesome, brilliant people that are watching that are just really shy? They get stage fright. What's your advice to that quiet person to start coming out of their shell in their master persuasion self like yourself?
That's a great question, because yes, you and I, we would definitely be in the extrovert category. So it comes very easily. There's probably nobody, like, once you meet Edward, you're a friend of Edward's. You are that man.
Bless
Yes,
your
you
heart,
are.
Tasia. Bless your heart.
And right there, that's one of those things. A lot of it's the inner self-confidence. And that's what I do teach with the Give Great Voice platform, which is to really start recognizing the magnificence of you, the roles that we are. Most people don't give themselves the awareness of how multifaceted and magnificent they are. So I approach it and help them to start looking at their lives in the map of the roles that they play, and start recognizing maybe that, many of these roles they're already playing successfully, so that we capitalize on the ones that they feel more confident in, and then start helping them to understand the 4 questions. So the acting approach is, who am I in this scene? Who am I speaking to? What do I want? And how does my voice support that intention? So awareness is the key to start, because we can be very quiet. Diane Sawyer is an introvert. I mean, there are a lot of introverts that understand that in their lives, in their personal lives, perhaps they can be more quiet, but if they have a role that they wish to play, they can overcome some of those obstacles using some of the techniques that I teach, so that they can have more confidence, understanding that this particular role requires, if it's sales, you're going to have to overcome the ability to be shy, because you have to engage. But if you think about, for me, I'm Tasia right now. What do I want? Who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to Edward. What's my intention? To engage and have warmth and win your trust. Trustworthiness is one of the most important things we can ever gain from somebody. And even the simplest way to engage and create trustworthiness is smiling. Just the act of smiling to create that warm connection, that nonverbal cue that says, I'm open, I'm engageable. These small techniques, I break down. The simplest ones are beads: breathe, empower, affirm, dress, and smile. Back to the smile. So again, I would tell people, once they understand the 4 questions, they would work on their breathing. Breathing is something that we all need to do well to speak powerfully, and also support the breath, and also take down that anxiety that many of us feel, diaphragmatic breathing specifically. Empowering.
Just so if I can jump in, because I know we've spoken about this one a lot off camera, and I get asked this all the time, stage fright. If I can jump in with this one. You are a master at overcoming stage fright. And let me give you a scenario, because I know we get asked this both all the time. Let's say someone is about to do a video, or they've got to speak in front of a group of 100 people, and they're panicked, they're freaking out. What would you say to someone to get out of the state of complete stage fright and panic to confidence and power? What are the techniques? How would you do that, Tasia?
I love it that you focused me. It was this acronym BEADS. BEADS is the act of taking some steps that will help everybody to have the ability to overcome what is very normal for many of us, including myself, stage fright. Stage fright is the act of our cortisol levels, hormones are happening, the flight or fight response happens, which is very normal. And part of it is just accepting that, not saying to yourself, I'm not going to be afraid, but more like excitement is right on the edge of fear. So reframing it, that they've actually done studies. If you were to say, I'm afraid, you're releasing all that cortisol. If you say, I'm excited, you're not saying, don't be this way. You're kind of shifting how close it be. That's like even one thing, reframing. But the most important thing we can do is breathe. Deep diaphragmatic breathing, which is the ability to stop that fight or flight response with this, that shallow breathing, and bring it 3 deep diaphragmatic breaths, which is the part that we're breathing through our lower part, this part, which is our power source, that anybody who does yoga or singing or breathing, 3 deep breaths, which will then lower the cortisol, tap into the parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest. And just the act of that breath alone will help you to take that fearful cortisol, which is hijacking your brain, and get you ready to go out there. Then again, reframe it. Maybe you're nervous, but you're also excited, which means, again, it's more of a positive spin. Then it would be empowering, which is, there's psychology now that science back that if you stand in the mirror for 2 minutes in the power pose, the Superman pose or the V pose, this was made famous by, I love it. Do that pose. There you go, Edward. Amy Cuddy, who made the famous TED Talk, that there's science behind the fact that when you do this for 2 minutes prior to the event, you're literally releasing testosterone. That is your power hormone, again, that makes you feel good, and lowering your cortisol levels. So people are doing power posing now, and it's become quite used in business situations. You don't want to do it, obviously, in the event, but prior to the event. So that's the breathe, empower. And then affirm is the self-speak. How are you speaking to yourself? Because, again, so many of us say unkind things to ourselves prior to what we're, oh my God, I'm right, the imposter syndrome. I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. They're going to know who I am. That is not what we want to say. We want to give great voice to ourselves. It's thoughts first, but I believe, again, the extra component of giving great voice, meaning you can do this. You're going to be amazing. You're going to rock this. Or I'm going to rock this. You know, you can say it like you're the confidence coach to yourself, but really becoming aware of our thoughts and then overriding those fearful thoughts that maybe we've had since we were very young, and they just run unchecked unless we catch them, notice them, and then reframe them. That's the affirm. And then the dress is that, you know, when you dress well, you feel good, right? Because that's like, again, the role. And then the smile. So it's breathe, empower, affirm, dress, and smile. Those are my go-to that will help anybody get ready to give the best performance, the best speech, the best whatever, and get over that stage fright by those. Now, obviously, we break it down further in more depth, but is that helpful?
Oh, that's good. And on that note, I get again, I'm sure you get asked this all the time, and so do I. Let's say someone, and I used to be like this, let's say someone arms a lot. I used to be the biggest armor, right? I'm pretty good at it now because I've worked very hard to get that out of my vocab. If you're a big armor like I used to be, or a stutterer, what are some of your tricks and tips for stopping arming and stopping stuttering?
Well, stuttering is definitely something that's, you know, a little bit more in depth, and it definitely could require some vocal coaching. I think a lot of the fillers that we use is that we're not okay with just landing and then taking a breath. So sometimes it's literally just being okay with landing a statement, having a pause, knowing that it's okay to have that pause. And sometimes it's that much more important so our audience can digest. And then speaking, so not needing to fill every moment of space. Oops, sorry. That is a naughty. I forgot to do that ahead of time. So does that help in terms of just that alone? The ums come from needing to always fill the space.
And just on that note, I love that convenient tweet or whatever happened, right? Because you handled it like a pro. I get asked this all the time, Ed, what if something goes wrong while I'm on stage? Now, you're a pro. Something went wrong, and you just said, I'm sorry, fixed and done. For those people, and I hear this all the time, for those people who are terrified about something going wrong while they're up there, actually, I'll ask you this question. What's your advice? Let's say you're doing a big speech in front of 100 people and something goes wrong. What's some of your advice to keep going with that smooth precision like you just did?
Well, you know, I'll tell you, in my TEDx talk that I gave, that I was preparing for many years, and that I had the opportunity to do it, right in the middle, my microphone went bad. And I didn't even know it.
So during the TEDx talk, the microphone died. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't know it was crackling. All of a sudden, I'm in the middle of my biggest speech of all time. And someone taps me on the shoulder, and I look to them, and he hands me a microphone. Now, that really could have messed me up. Oh, hold on a second. See, there's another moment.
I love it. I love how we're handling these moments. And
well, it's real life. That's what it is. It's real life. And I think that's part of it, to have a sense of humor about it. And the part that when it happened to me, that I'm going to close the door now. When it happened to me, the microphone, I said to the audience, you know, this is real life and the show must go on. And I got my microphone and I continued, and it was not even a blip. But if I had fallen apart and started, you know, using the machinations of, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. This has ruined my talk. I don't even know what I'm saying. The cortisol levels would have started going, the inner speak. I would have completely lost my ability. But I think, again, sense of humor, recognizing that it happens to everybody and that these things, this is just life. And also just kind of going with the flow in terms of just saying, oh, well, and laughing and then continuing on.
Because I got to say, I love these errors. I reckon you did them deliberately to make the point, because I love, they're not errors, but I love how fluid you've been with them. And I think it's a great advice to anyone watching, because things go wrong. You have bad microphones, you have bad air conditioners, a fire alarm could go off, the PC could die. I love how you
Dog
set
to
the show.
bark. I mean,
A dog bark. Tell us about. That's right. You got 2 dogs, haven't you? Don't you have 2 dogs?
two dogs. This dog, my little dog, was like woofing, and I heard it quietly, and she was just going to go for a big bark if I didn't let her in just now. So it was one of those things. But I think that's probably one of the things we're experiencing more is authenticity. I mean, now we're at home, we're Zooming. There's so many, our ability to kind of compartmentalize our life has definitely changed. And so a lot of the things that we hid are now revealing themselves. And I think it kind of, in a way, it gives permission for everybody else to be human. We're all human. And when we forgive, meaning that we forgive the fact that this has happened and have a kind of a recognition that that's okay, this is life, then we have the ability to just, again, go forward, as opposed to starting the in your head cycle of fear and judgment and worrying about the others that are judging us. I think it's so much of that self-kindness to say, crap happens, move on.
On that note, and I used to be really bad at this, and just for the sake of the audience, I'm actually an introvert. If you actually did a personality test on me, I'm actually an introvert, right? Believe it or not.
I cannot even believe it, but if you tell me it's true, I believe it.
I'll give you an example. This is one of the tests, very basic test, mind you, for testing an introvert versus an extrovert. In your own time, Friday night, do you want to stay home or go to a party?
I used to want to go to a party, and now I want to stay home.
Stay home with me. I've always been stay home. It's like, I'll go to a party for work reasons, but if it's like, Ed, there's a social event on, or you can stay home and watch YouTube. YouTube, stay home, totally.
I think as I've gotten older, I've really appreciated, those, but when I was young, it would have been, it was every Friday night, I was gone.
I can see that. And one thing is, and again, I'm going to use my old self as a whipping boy here.
Whipping boy, just as an example,
Oh, what a reframe. Everyone, Tasia, Valenza, spoken like a pro. Did you hear that reframe? She caught my negative language. So I used to be so negative. I was the most negative person there ever was. There's no one that was more negative than me. And I used to get really stuck in my own head all the time. You know how you think about weird stuff and it just becomes real, and I used to do that all the time, and I hated it, right? Especially during my 20s. Yeah. If someone is like my old self and really stuck in their own head, like really bad, what are some of your like top Hollywood A-class tricks for getting out of your own head? What are some of the top tricks you've seen and used yourself?
Well, this is a great segue to, I was able to co-found an affirmation meditation app called Haven, and it's completely free. And it is literally, I call it, it's a tool to learn to speak the language of self-love, which is, I consider a very foreign language to most people.
Oh, tell me more. Yeah. I'm looking at you going, what, really? Tell me more. This is cool.
Well, most people, again, we're very comfortable saying, I'm stupid, I'm an idiot, I can't believe this is going wrong, they're going to know who I am, I've done it again, why do I even bother? These very old thoughts that are usually, again, wired from the time that we're very little, 0 to 7. That's when we get a lot of this unconscious programming. This is scientifically known to stay as your subconscious, which runs about 95% of your brain. And 5% is the creative frontal lobe that the goals and the achievements. But that old wiring, we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, just flowing unchecked. Most of us, 60 to 7, what could we possibly be thinking that many times? But most of us, again, when we're driving, when we're doing the dishes, when we're doing something and those thoughts are just flowing, those thoughts are flowing, and 80% of those thoughts are negative from the year before and the year before and the year before. So it's only the awareness of starting to realize that you are not your thoughts. Oh my goodness, I'm having a negative thought. I'm having a negative thought. Where is that thought? Where is it true, for one thing? Of course, again, in the moment it might feel, but becoming the witness. And then I offer that we learn to override it with speaking. That is not true. It might have been in the past, but no, in this moment, I am fine. I love myself. I believe in myself. Now, this, again, if you say it with no conviction and no belief, it's just words, right? But I co-founded an affirmation meditation app that helps you get into that nice, relaxed state. It's broken down into masteries, health, wealth, confidence, stress reduction. So like any good, as meditation is very helpful for all of us, a guided meditation where you can kind of update the software through this language of self-love. We're all operating on a 40-year-old computer or a 30-year-old computer. Who uses a computer that's a year old without a software update?
Only Apple users, not PC users.
There you go. So we have to update the software. There's many ways to do it. My particular way is in the give great voice component, that when we say affirmations in a state of relaxation, I am willing to love myself. I believe in myself. I am capable. I can do anything I set my mind to. It might be really uncomfortable at first. It might feel like, oh my God, but can we learn French in our heads? Can we learn Farsi in our heads? No, you have to say it aloud, and it's uncomfortable, and it's like bric-a-brac, and then one day you're like a little bit more fluent. It's like I love myself. That feels good. I believe in myself. I can do anything I set my mind to. And then one day it's like, this feels really good, speaking this language of self-love. And it's a process, but it is like anything, to be aware that these thoughts no longer apply and not follow them down the rabbit hole anymore. And then have a mechanism to override it until it becomes comfortable and then fluent. That's how I approach it. And I offer this free tool to help people so that I can help guide them to do this on a regular basis. And it's like going to the gym. If you think I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to work my body out, but you don't actually do it, your body's not really going to change. So if you say, I'm going to start working on myself, whatever you say after I am, or I have consistently, tells your future.
Oh,
What do you want to say?
Oh, well said, Tasia. I got to say, I love where you're going. And as we bring this epic interview for now to its conclusion, what are some of your key thoughts for people to develop a great voice? What are your top 3 tips, Tasia? Tell us all.
Well, again, to understand what is the role that you want to play, meaning that are you trying to inspire warmth and inviting? Do you want a little bit more trustworthiness and more gravitas, meaning, maybe you're going for the more professional sound? Or are you thinking about playing the role of a parent and calming and soothing your child who needs help? It's really understanding that the voice is a powerful instrument, and you can tune it and become aware of it and know that it's the most beautiful. It can either help you land your message or it can detract from your message. And so it's not so much the words we say, but how we deliver them. And to start falling in love with this instrument and start using it and learning different skill sets, which of course, again, other people teach, I teach, so that you can have more intention when you speak. Intentionalize your thoughts. Intentionalize the awarenesses that when you are communicating, is your message landing in the way that you want? So the awareness of your role, the awareness of who are you speaking to? What's the success of the scene? Did I get the investment? Did that people feel really good about me? Did I make my relationship with the people I love closer or further? Meaning, did I repel my husband when I said Harvey, or did I draw him closer when I said honey? It's it's like, as soon as we are aware, like before we pick up that phone to make that call, before we get on that Zoom, who am I in this scene of my life? Who am I speaking to? What do I want? What is the success for both of us? And how does my voice support that intention? That is the beginning of becoming aware, and then knowing that this tuned up awareness, just by recognizing, if I said to you, Edward, this has been a really nice interview and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Would you really feel that I, no, if I said to you, Edward, and you always do this has been an amazing opportunity to speak with you. I'm so grateful. You feel how that I am truthful and warm in this. Everybody has the power to do it. It's just intentionalizing it, becoming aware that our voice is the orator for the message, and then supporting the intention with the voice.
Oh, well said, Tasia. I think this is incredible. And Tasia, before you go, how can people find you and how can people become your clients?
I'm TasiaValenza.com. I'm GiveGreatVoice.com. I'm on LinkedIn, as you know, because that's how we had the pleasure of meeting. And I'm on Instagram. But I think because of our audience is mostly a LinkedIn world, feel free to message me, and I'd be delighted to help your clients magnify and amplify their messages so they can feel really confident in their verbal communication, both professionally and personally.
Yeah. And sorry, just to let you know, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm lying outside the Museum of Contemporary Arts in Sydney, and there's an ibis working past, and the ibis was staring at me, and they're sort of creepy looking birds. So he's now, I'm lying down with my Surface 4 Pro, and this ibis just walked up to me and just stared at me like, "Hey, buddy, what you doing here, boy? Better move along, boy." So I'm lucky. I'm good.
Oh my gosh. See, now look how beautifully you handled it. But so now we know what's going on, that you were worried that this bird was going to peck at you or something.
Yeah, it's like a racist ibis that knows I'm Middle Eastern. Get out of here, boy. There you go. That's good. Nice
You
going,
are
man.
silly. But Hong Kong. Well, anyway, thank you so much. Really, truthfully, I love our time together. It's always so much fun, and you ask the best questions.
Yeah. And also, too, I want to give you the final word, Tasia, because it's been incredible. And just so you know, for the sake of a wonderful audience around the world, and the ibis is gone, thank God. So my cortisol levels are decreasing. So my flight.
But don't forget that. But wait, that deep diaphragmatic breathing. Don't forget to have that nice deep breathing.
Yeah, it'll be like a horror film. I relax, and he just grabs onto me and blood.
You fly away. But that's surely see, that would go viral though, right? That definitely help.
Come on, quick, ibis attack me. Give me some content. No, this will go viral. Yeah. But no, I just want to say, final word to you. And just before that, friends, I've known Tasia for a long time. She's amazing. What you see is what you get. Type her name into Google too. You see her doing some A-class work. She's been in films with Sean Penn. She's done Star Trek, Disney, and more. Amazing leader. Tasia, I want to give you the final word. What is your big closing thought for our wonderful viewers around the world?
You have such a powerful gift inside of you. So many of you have this desire to do a podcast or land your message or get on a stage. It's all within you. All you have to do is have some awareness, command, and practice, and you can do anything you set your mind to and live the dream life that you so desire. It is my firm belief that it's something that everyone can connect with, have command over, and make the most impactful messaging and using their most powerful communication tool, their voice.